there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dog passed away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be
Winter reveals the hidden lie. Moonlight could mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise.
all the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. How is everybody? Welcome to our show. My name is Elizabeth, and this is Hillbilly Crime. Now, what is our title this evening? Who knew about Damron? Now, if you have been following this Letcher County, Kentucky mess, the corruption, and just the misconduct, the rumors, where there's smoke, there's usually fire, right? We've had a lot of people kind of come forward and share their stories, and they have been just all from all different sides of the spectrum. Everybody has a different experience, right? Everybody has a different experience. People maybe went to school with Mickey Steins. We have this big case here in Letcher County. Mickey Steins, former Sheriff Mickey Steins, who was the bailiff for about 10 years under Judge Kevin Mullins. So tonight, okay, we are stepping straight into the heart of what I call the culture of corruption. The quiet, backroad kind, the kind that doesn't make national headlines, but ruins families and destroys trust, one small town at a time. Folks always think corruption looks like some big city skyscraper boardroom or some Hollywood scandal. But the truth, the darkest corruption grows in the places where everybody knows everybody and nobody wants to say a word. And tonight we're going to talk about who all knew about Damron here, but we're also going to look at another situation. Okay. Tonight we're going to talk about Coffee County, Tennessee, where a mama lost her daughter. And instead of answers, she's getting stonewalls, silence, and a whole lot of, now don't you ask too many questions. Give me just a second. Okay. All right. Sorry. Don't you ask too many questions. Now, the sheriff's office won't investigate. Does this sound familiar? Now, Damron, Officer Damron, here in Letcher County, he's a former officer. He is no longer working in law enforcement. But we're going to talk about that situation. We're also going to talk about just what kind of similarities that we see in these cases and the areas. The culture seems to be very, very similar. Now, the coroner gave a cause of death that doesn't make a lick of sense. Sound familiar? And now, just like we've seen over and over in places like my own mountains, people are suddenly whispering their own stories into the shadows, scared to go on record, scared to speak their own truth because they've seen what happens to folks who challenge power in small towns, where good old boy loyalty runs deeper than the justice system ever did. And let me tell you something else. When the good old boys start circling the wagons, it ain't to protect the community. You better believe that. It's to protect themselves. Because even if one person steps forward, even if one cracks through the silence, then everybody who stayed quiet, everybody who looked the other way, everybody who knew something and didn't say a word, suddenly they have to explain why. And that's what terrifies them. So tonight we're asking the question. The good people in these communities whisper to themselves in the dark. We're going to ask the question that the good people in these communities whisper to themselves in the dark. How do you fight corruption when the corruption is the people sworn to protect you? Now, how do good people break free when the bad ones hold the power, the badges, and the throats? Now, because here's the truth that gets folks riled up. In small towns like Coffee County, like Letcher County, like half of the Appalachian South, the justice system ain't broken. It's working exactly the way that they designed it to. But that's exactly why independent voices, grieving mamas, community members, and folks who aren't scared to shine a light have become the only path to the truth. So buckle up, y'all. Grab your sweet tea, grab your common sense, and grab your courage. Because tonight, we're cracking open the silence these communities have been living under for far too long. This is the culture of corruption. All right. Welcome, welcome, everyone. How is everybody? Did y'all have a great day? Rocks and raccoons. We love Auntie Jen. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, before I even go any further, I want to stop and really quickly, we have one of our ball moms. I just want to kind of direct everybody. On our screen there, we have that little code in the corner. You can do that, scan that, and it'll take you to our Facebook page. So one of our ball moms, her name is Trina, and she actually lost her husband last year to cancer. And so she has entered a contest, and it's on my Facebook, and you can vote for Miss Trina. All you have to do is just click on the thing on my Facebook, and it will take you there, and you can do one free vote. All the proceeds go for breast cancer awareness, I think. And it says on there, I went ahead and did mine, and then I shared it on my Facebook. So if anybody would like to go to my Facebook and vote for Miss Trina in that contest, we would sure appreciate it. And I will get the link. Crystal, if there's any way you can grab my Facebook link and stick it in the live chat too, and we will direct everybody to my Facebook and go vote for Miss Trina. She is beautiful, 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 and we love her very much. And our prayers are always with her and her family. All right. So now, let me grab this real quick. So, Damron, this officer Damron, he was a deputy. Well, first he was a police officer here in Letcher County. He was a police officer, from what I was told, at the Jenkins, right here where I live. He was a Jenkins City police officer. And then he left here. I don't know if he was fired. I don't know if he just quit and moved to the sheriff's department. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of information on Damron yet. I have some, but I don't have like his timeline and stuff like that. I need to run him through my background check thing. So I will try and get that done this week sometime for that part of Damron. But anybody who has any kind of personal stories, please feel free to send them to me. I've already had several. And I'm going to read one of the stories that I was sent. We're not going to say any names. We're just going to read what they sent to me, their experience. So, give me just a second. I may have to go grab it from my other thing. Anyway, let me go ahead and I'll read this one first, and then we'll come back to that. All right. So let's dig deeper into Coffee County, Tennessee, because what's happening there is not just a tragedy, it's a warning. We've got a mama standing alone in the middle of a storm that she didn't ask for. Her daughter died, and instead of answers, instead of a real investigation, instead of basic human dignity, she got a quick autopsy, a questionable cause of death, and a whole sheriff's department acting like they'd rather she just go away quietly. And let me tell you something. When law enforcement doesn't want to investigate a death, well, that is not incompetence. That is a choice. Same goes up here in Jenkins. There was a feller that was red-rummed right up here at the apartments. I mean, sliced open. Never found no. I mean, I don't even know what kind of an investigation was ever done. I've got a couple sources, and we think we already know. We know who did it. You think chief of police? Do you think that they did any kind of investigation here in Jenkins? Doubt it. Nothing was ever done. That's a choice. When you are a police officer, when it's your duty, when you are the investigator, you're the lead investigator, and you don't investigate anything or as little as possible, that's a choice. And what happens next? People start coming out of the woodwork. Not publicly, of course. No. Oh, no. This is small town politics. They're sending anonymous messages, whispering their own stories, saying, I saw something. Guess what they did to me? I had a bad run-in with that same office. That officer came after me. You're not the only one. Don't use my name, but have I got a story to tell you? And you know what? That fear is real. Because in places like Coffee County or Letcher County, retaliation is not a hypothetical. Oh, no. It's the culture. It's the air the system breathes. You speak up, you might get targeted. You might get pulled over. You might lose your job. Your kids might suddenly be in trouble at school. Your name might start circulating in little back office conversations you can't prove and can't escape. That's why these family stories that's why these families stay silent for years, decades even. And the ones who do speak, they are usually branded as crazy, troublemakers, or they're just grieving too loud. But here's the real kicker. The moment one brave soul steps forward, everyone who stayed silent suddenly feels the spotlight shifts onto them. Where were you? Why didn't you say anything sooner? Didn't you say they were both honorable men? Why didn't you help? You worked in that office for 10 years yourself. You never saw anything? Really? And that's why the circle gets tighter. That's why the wagons get pulled in. That's why the intimidation becomes louder. because they're not just trying to silence the mama fighting for her daughter. They're trying to silence the ones who could come forward next. Now, let me say this plain. Good people in these communities are stuck between wanting justice and knowing exactly what happens to the last person who asks too many questions. That is the definition of a culture of corruption. A culture where power protects power, where fear keeps the truth buried, where families bury their loved ones twice, once in the ground and once under the weight of silence. But this mama, she's breaking that silence. She's refusing to sit down. She's refusing to be intimidated. And every time one person stands up, it gives courage to another, and another, and another. That's why independent media matters. So it ain't coming from the the made man at the newspaper who has access to all the judges' chambers. That's why y'all matter. That's why stories like this have to be told out loud and in the daylight. Because justice cannot grow in places where the truth is whispered. It grows when the community decides the fear ends today. All right. Let me pull we've got a couple different stories that we're going to read here because it seems like, it seems like investigations are starting to be they're starting to come. Let's see. That was not the right one. That's Virginia. Today I was doing a whole lot of moving all my pictures and stuff over to my computer to try and free up space on my phone. And I've got stuff just everywhere, unfortunately. So let me get her up here. Sorry, I should have had this done already. But I am always running behind. Well, I think it's took a bunch of stuff out of my thing here. So, all right. Well, let's see. All right. Why do you think so many people in small towns are afraid to speak out against law enforcement? What do you guys think? Why do you think in small towns? I mean, pretty much know already, but what do you guys say? All right. All right, so we've got the Coffee County Sheriff's Department press release. And the mother, this girl's mother, really has she's gotten a huge following on Facebook. There she is. Shannon Stapleton is her name. All right. Shannon Stapleton. And I'm going to show you one of her reels here. It's all about her daughter. And man, she has really she's done every bit of this on her own. Let me show you here. We're going to share my screen. So this is Shannon Stapleton. And her about, let's see if she had any about. No, we're going to go to her reels. And we'll just listen to a few of them.
There's no one like her.
Nope, not that one. But she's really coming on hard.
And now I'm hearing that we're trying to exercise those husband rights and try to throw that weight around as that 2-month-old husband and try to see what they can do to prevent me from what I'm doing. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you take them husband's rights and stick them in your damn ass is what you can do with them. Right straight up your damn.
Oh.
I want to give a shout out to all my followers this morning. We've got 85,000 followers this morning. We've had over 1 million comments and only 3 bad comments out of 1 million. So thank y'all for believing in me. Thank y'all for viewing my videos, sharing my videos. Y'all doing one mama a big favor, and hey, I appreciate it. And anything I can do to help any of y'all anytime, don't hesitate to ask. I'll do anything I can. I'm one of them kind of people. You help me, I help you. That's the way it's supposed to be. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. And if you can't scratch mine, I'll still scratch yours if possible. So thank y'all very much. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Y'all keep sharing this. Y'all keep putting this out there. I said we was going to make this nationwide. Before it's over, we were going to get some help in here for Coffee County, and that's exactly what I'm planning to do. And I will not stop until justice is served in my daughter's case. That is what I will say. Brendan keeps on board. The team at Atlanta News First has took our story, and they are investigating Coffee County. And dealing with the Georgia Sheriff's Association, and we are looking for some answers. We hope around December the 2nd from what we're hearing from them. So hey, y'all keep sending in your stories, keep sharing my posts, keep viewing my videos, and keep coming with the comments. I appreciate that. It does a mama's heart good to know that the people in the United States is backing her. That's what we need in the United States, people that stand up for the honest truth. So y'all doing the right thing by supporting me. This is the honest God's truth. I would not get on social media. I was raised better than that to get on here and make us start fooling myself and tell a pile of lies. I'm not that kind of person. So I appreciate that very much from the bottom of my heart. And if you're a suspect in my daughter's case, you need to go ahead and log her up, baby. Go ahead and log her up because you're going to need him. Mine was about a $50,000 retainer fee. You're going to need one of that caliber because mama's coming in hot. And see, y'all lied to her for all these years, and she's got to the bottom of it pretty close. So if you're a suspect, I suggest that you go ahead and log her up because you're going to need him, and you better have a damn good one. Because mama's coming in hot, and she ain't going to stop to see she sees some bitches in handcuffs, what I'm going to tell you, allegedly. And if you're a suspect in my daughter's case, you need to go ahead and log her up, baby. Go ahead and log her up because you're going to need him. Mine was about a $50,000 retainer fee. You're going to need one of that caliber because mama's coming in hot. And see, y'all lied to her for all these years, and she's got to the bottom of it pretty close. So If you're a suspect, I suggest that you go ahead and lawyer up, because you're going to need him. And you better have a damn good one. Because mama's coming in hot, and she ain't going to stop to see she sees some bitches in handcuffs, what I'm going to tell you. Allegedly. And if you're a suspect in my daughter's case, you need to go ahead and lawyer up, baby. Go ahead and lawyer up, because you're going to need him. For the gentleman that got on there and said you're a bottom feeder, for that comment.
So when I'm all choked up and I can't find the words, every time we say good.
I think that's her daughter right there. I can't play that because of the song. It's gonna, I think that's probably that was probably enough. It would probably hit me anyway. But that's all right. I'm trying to get this open here. But where my phone is so full. I might have to get it another way. Okay, so now Coffee County, Tennessee, they gave their press release statement, and it said on August 25th, 2024. Let me pull it over here where I can. Oh, no. I've already got all that stuff over there. Okay, so on August 25th, 2024, at 1:45 p.m., Coffee County deputies responded to the area of Von Speckleton Road and the railroad tracks. Human remains were located by a subject checking their deer cameras. Coffee County Sheriff's investigators, along with Manchester Police Department investigators and Coffee County EMS Director Michael Bonner, processed the scene and the area around the remains. I don't think this has even got on that. Sorry, y'all. The remains were then transported by Coffee County EMS for pickup in the state medical examiner's office. Currently, this is not being investigated as a homicide, but a possible natural caused death. The state medical examiner's office is investigating to identify the person. When this investigation is completed, the sheriff's office and Manchester Police Department will follow up with more information. Sheriff Chad Parton. Oh, that was last year. It was August 26, 2024. Now, I don't know if that is hers, if that's the one that they did for her daughter or not. I don't think so, because I don't think her daughter was left out like that. So I may have just read the wrong one, y'all. I'm sorry. Let's see. Let's see. All right, this one might be the one where she tells it. Let's see.
With my daughter's case and these other cases, it is now my family and our belief, my entire family's belief, that the Coffee County Sheriff's Department is responsible for covering up the death of my child for these individuals. We believe that they were aware of it and they covered it up for these individuals. I would like to say, after everything that has surfaced and everything that we have found out, with my daughter's case and these other cases. It is now my family and our belief.
Okay. Let's try this one.
Complaint form and let you know what it reflects this morning. It says, this complaint concerns intentional obstruction and denial of public records, including an autopsy report by the Coffee County Sheriff's Office related to my daughter's death investigation. I believe this conduct violates both Georgia and federal laws protecting transparency, due process, and civil rights. Number one law cited that is violated in my daughter's case. Georgia laws are going to say OCGA, and the federal laws are going to start with, they're going to say USC. So these are the Georgia laws. OCGA 50-18-73 and 50-18-74, Open Records Act, Enforcement and Penalties. OCGA 16-10-1, Violation of Oath of Office. OCGA 16-10-24, Obstruction from Justice. Federal laws. 18 U.S.C. Section 1505, Obstruction of Proceedings before federal agencies. 18 U.S.C. 1519, Destruction or Falsification of Records. 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, Civil Rights Violation. 18 U.S.C. and 18 U.S.C. Section 241, Conspiracy Against Rights. 18 U.S.C. Section 242, Deprivation of Rights under the color of law. I request that the FBI Civil Rights Division investigate the action from the Coffee County Sheriff's Office for potential obstruction of justice, violation of civil rights, intentional denial of access to public records, and any conspiracy to deprive rights protected under the federal law. And that has been filed this morning, baby. Okay, I'm going to read you a little of my new complaint form.
All right. So I just wanted to talk about how important it is for us to have independent media. You know, she ain't doing nothing different than my show, right? Mine's a little bit different. It's just unique. It's how I've created my show to be. But all she's using is her phone. You know, I've said for a long time, I think that more people need to get out and start sharing their experiences. You know, so many people are afraid, and they just don't want to get they don't want to come out. They don't want to get on camera. They're afraid. Now I've got this open. I've got it now, y'all. Got it now. Let me pull it up here. We need more people that'll speak out. We really, really do. Let's see. Ah. Ooh. Okay. Let's see. People sending me stuff. Ooh. Let's see. Hazard Herald. Let's read this. Look what was just sent to me. This was June 9th, 2022. Recently, which not recently, is a few years ago, Perry County's 911 director, Melissa Missy Blair, was arrested on drug-related charges. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you who this is before we even read the article. I ain't read it yet. I'm going to be reading it with you. This is allegedly Scott Blair's sister. Scott Blair was the prosecutor over here in Hazard, right next door, Perry County, that was charged federally, and the only thing he was charged and convicted with was honest services fraud, but yet he was addicted to methamphetamine for 13 years and was extorting, blackmailing, and allegedly sextorting men. Yeah, men. Right here in Hazard. For 13 years, he was a meth head. For 13 years. And nobody knew it. BS. 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 This is a culture of corruption. Who knew? Who knew about Scott Blair? It ain't just about Damron. Who knew about Scott Blair? Now, I've been saying for a long time that we've got sex trafficking right here. You can't have county after county. You can't have all these counties attached to each other in southeastern Kentucky, and every single courthouse has got some form of sextortion going on, and we still don't have no federal investigation. I'm the only one. I am the only one that continues to holler organized crime. I'm the only one. The stories that we hear about Damron, the kinds of things that he was doing, allegedly, he's the fixer. He was the enforcer. Now, I've said the word fixer. I've used the word fixer describing our most unethical attorney at law in Whitesburg. But we also have fixers in law enforcement too. We have enforcers. We have ones that wear badges but are no better than the common thug, dealing drugs out of their trunk of their cruiser, drinking on the job, driving around all night in that cruiser. Well, honey, if they give them a breathalyzer, but who would dare do that? Who would dare do that? You know how many raging alcoholics we have in very high positions in Letcher County? I know of 3. 3. They're in very, very high positions. If some of them only knew what I have. But I don't really know what to do with it. Because remember, I'm not a reporter. So I don't really know what to do with some things that I get. Anyway, all right. Back to the sister, the alleged sister. Missy Blair was arrested on drug-related charges. At this time, county officials are unable to confirm what this will mean for her position as a county leader of first responders. According to a citation by Hazard Police Department, Deputy Chief James East, on May 26th, officers with the Hazard Police Department pulled into the Shell Market on East Main Street and were notified by employees that a female was passed out in a vehicle in front of the store. Well, that sounds familiar. Wasn't our chief of police in Whitesburg, didn't he pass out in a drive-through too? Yep, he did. No consequences whatsoever. I reckon he was taken in behind closed doors with James Wiley Craft, and when he came out, they were fine. He apologized and said, "I'm sorry. I messed up. I made a mistake. No harm, no foul. Don't worry. I'll be at work tomorrow." According to a citation by Hazard Police Department, the female was passed out in a vehicle in front of the store. Units made contact with the woman by banging on the window, and she got out, said the citation. The woman was identified as Missy Blair, 44, of Hazard. Blair said East got out of the vehicle and was unsteady on her feet. East citation said drug recognition expert Officer Keith Gwynn was called to the scene to conduct standardized field sobriety tests, which showed impairment. East said he Mirandized Blair, and she admitted to being under the influence. Lieutenant John Holbrook and K-9 officer Zeke conducted an open-air search of the vehicle, and Zeke alerted to the odor of narcotics, court documents said. A search of the vehicle led to officers finding a Long John Silver's box that contained a Virginia Slim cigarette pack and a snort straw. Man. Inside the cigarette pack was a plastic baggie with 6 oxycodone, said the citation. Also located in the vehicle was a Suboxone pill bottle that had 10 pills, and the bottle was for 28. It had been filled 2 days prior, said the citation. Blair was arrested and charged with public intoxication of a controlled substance, excluding alcohol, first-degree possession of a controlled substance, drug unspecified, and drug paraphernalia, buy or possess. County officials said they are currently unable to confirm or comment on how this will impact Blair's position as 911 director. She was the 911 director. You think she got that job because of nepotism? Or do you think she probably was educated if her brother was a lawyer. I'd say she probably had an education herself, but I'd say there was some nepotism there. I mean, I was educated too. It didn't help me a hill beans. Nothing. There wasn't none of them gonna crack that door for me. None of them. Not even a wife. You know. And then they look at me and, "How dare you talk about us? How dare you even talk about any of this stuff?" Okay. Doesn't even make a bit of sense. All right. The corruption in our judicial system is about just like we can't even make this stuff up. You know, it's gotten so bad that we can't even make it up. Have you ever seen a situation where people knew the truth, but nobody wanted to be the first to say it out loud? I feel like that's kind of where we're at with that kind of stuff. All right. Let me see. I might be on the wrong. I might be in the wrong inbox. Let me switch it. No, I guess that's it. Let me see. There it is. Okay, now I found it. Sorry, y'all. Sheesh. That gave me a hard time. Gave me a hard time. So this is a story that I got about Damron. Oh, no, that ain't it. I got a bunch of stories about Damron. One that I think is, I got it right after the shooting happened. But I didn't really know how to talk about it because, you know, a lot of the stuff that was coming to me about that time, I was afraid. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if people were sending me stuff, trying to send me the wrong direction. I didn't know if I could even tell some of the things that I was getting. I didn't know how to confirm any of it, even, and a lot of it you can't confirm. Because nothing was ever done. Nobody's ever going to find out about it. Unless people speak. Now, we're not going to tell who it is, of course. But so someone reached out to me and wanted to let me know about Damron and what kind of person he was. Every single person that I've spoke to said he was a real POS. There ain't one person that's had one nice thing to say about him. Not one. I reckon he harassed people. He just allegedly barged into people's homes without any kind of search warrants. He didn't care. We watched Jim Stevens go into my neighbor's house. I got it on video. They came out here and walked right in his house. And the guy they were looking for lives in the house up on the other side of me. There wasn't no exigent circumstances. Now he'll lie. He lied and said there was. But they didn't see nobody go in that house. They didn't watch that boy run in that house. And there wasn't nobody told him that either. We were all right out here. We saw it. We watched it go down. Damron allegedly did a lot of those same things, only worse. One of the stories, I guess, reports, people's personal experiences. Now I can go ahead and tell you, because all we have to do is say allegedly. This is his experience. This is what he told me. He said that years ago, his aunt, back when the OCs, pain pills and opioids were real big and running around, there was money. Everybody was a dealer. Not everybody, of course, but when opioids became a thing, people that were poor, poverty-stricken, old people that were on, fixed incomes, maybe $1,000 a month, $700 a month. But now all of a sudden, they've got a medicine bottle in their medicine cabinet that's got 90 pills in it, and each one of those pills is worth over $100 a piece. They can sell them pills for $120 a pop. And they got 90 of them a month. So now, when they pushed all that stuff in here, they turned people's little old grannies and grandpas into dealers. They didn't know what they were doing, but their grandkids did. Their children did. And now all of a sudden they can pay their bills. Now all of a sudden they can buy groceries. Now they can pay their power bills. The story that came to me, his aunt, this boy's aunt, was a dealer. And she paid every month for protection. She paid, allegedly, every month to not get busted. I reckon there was a whole lot of people that were on that payroll. As long as they paid every month, cops kept the handcuffs off of them. Well, one day, he said, the boy that was telling me this, one day he said that the enforcer that worked for a specific, well, allegedly, Damron, came in, kicked the door in, took everything. While they were gone, there wasn't nobody there, I think, if I got that right. I might not have got that part right, but that's not really the important part. The important part was that all of their stuff was gone and taken, and there was a note left. You didn't pay your payment this month. And so whenever the aunt came home and saw all of her stuff gone, her house had been broke into and everything was gone, but she found that little note, she allegedly called the head honcho and said, "You didn't get my payment this month?" Allegedly. And he said, "Well, yeah, I got your payment this month. Same as every month." She said, "That's what I thought. How come your pit bull just came and took all my stuff?" "What? I don't know. Let me find out." Said the next day, every bit of her stuff was delivered right back to her house, and an envelope with her payment for that month was left. "Sorry for the trouble. We're going to give you your payment back this month." I mean, I don't know how more criminal that gets. Do you? Now, this other one, that POS harassed me, and I'm going to read word for word, only minus any kind of identifiable information. That POS harassed me and my family for way too long. I think it was all because of who he was dating and who my family is. I used to be real good friends with a girl, and we won't say her name, until she started trying to get with every guy I even talked to. Well, come to find out, she started dating Damron. Weirdest couple, in my opinion. Anyway, later on, someone that I was really close to wrecked up on the bypass in Whitesburg and killed 2 people. Well, those 2 people were related, associated with Damron's girlfriend. Well, the person that hit them got the max, sentence for it, or close to it. But it seemed like after that, I kept getting pulled over for stupid stuff by no other than Damron. And it got worse and worse. And he came to my home one day looking for my then boyfriend. I told him he wasn't there, and he came in anyway and literally threatened to shoot my dog. You know how many of them want to threaten to shoot your animals? You know how many times Alan Borums himself has threatened to shoot my dogs? Because she was a pit and was barking at him for busting in the door of her own home, right? So you got a cop. My dogs don't like it. Anytime I have any interaction with Alan Borums himself, it ain't good. It's tense. I don't like him and he don't like me. I don't want to be in his vicinity. I do not want to be around him at all. He is a liar. I can't believe that he's still a police officer. But when all of the buddies are the same way, they ain't nobody sees him as bad, do they? Anyway, he went through my whole house and did not find him. As he was leaving, he said, "Next time I will kill that dog." And I said, "Over my dead body." Then that same boyfriend and I were arguing. Nothing major. And the neighbor called the law. Well, we left. And don't you think he pulled us over in Whitesburg for no reason and made me get out of the car? And because I wouldn't go along with his BS lies, he took me to jail for calling 911 without an emergency. I kept telling him it wasn't me that called. I didn't call. He took me anyway. First time going to jail, and it was for something like that. Then it just kept getting worse. He pulled me and my husband, not the then boyfriend, I got into an argument with. This was later on. And he pulled him over. For one, he was in his regular car in regular clothes. And two, he had his girlfriend with him, the same one that didn't like her. So now you're chasing your girlfriend's enemies down. You a cop. And you're the lead narcotics officer. As a joke. Yeah, he was the lead narcotics officer, all right. You know how many people have said, allegedly, he would sell rugs out of his cruiser, out of the trunk of his cruiser? All the time. People saw, not just the people that bought them from him. I've heard from them too. But also people who were just there and saw it. I've heard from them too, allegedly. But when he pulled them over, he said it was because of a tail light. He's running around town in his own vehicle in plain clothes with his girlfriend, pulling people over that his girlfriend don't like. Because he says they had a tail light out. But we did not have one out. He started talking shit. And they all got mad. And then I got mad. He made me get out of the passenger seat and started cussing me on the side of the road in Isom. My husband was driving and somebody else was sitting behind her. He never made my husband get out, only me and the other person. He searched the car and found 2 pills under the passenger seat towards the back. Sure he did. That was not put there by me, and I don't think it was by the other one either. I really believe he set us up. I do too, 'cause they're good for that. Before he got us out, he went back to the car for a minute, then came back and got us out. He had to have got the pills from his vehicle and put them under the seat. We did not have anything like that on us, and we knew it, but we couldn't do anything about it. How you gonna prove it? Who's anybody gonna believe? You or me? He couldn't take us to jail in his own car with his hoe bag girlfriend in it. He called another cop, and it was Matt Gayhart. What? You mean that real deep voice? You know, the one that was, I guess, I'm pretty sure Matt Gayhart is the state trooper that does like a lot of the public statements and stuff, their announcements. Interesting. Which I love. I have nothing bad to say about that man, she says. I've not ever heard anything bad about him, but I've never heard anything good about him either. I don't know the man, but I like his voice, and I think he sings really good. So, anyway. But how can we both get charged for them pills? I never could understand that. Damron done so much more. He's an evil, evil person. I just wish all the evil shit that these people have done and got away with would just come to light. I know if you dig just a little deeper on Brian Damron, it's untelling what you'll find. I just wanted to tell you some of what he put me and my family through. Thank you for that. Because that's real. That is what people go through. You get out here and you get pulled over. And the next thing you know, they're finding drugs in your car. Because nobody wants to draw the po-po's attention. Here, let me go back here. See. Oh, Miss Candy. Hello. Hello, hello. Yes. If you are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button if you do. It helps us a whole lot. It gets us out to a larger group of people. And this month has been a rough one, y'all. It's been a really rough month. Not going to complain. Just going to praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Give it all to Him. We have hope. We have faith. It's always going to be like this. And so, just know that when you're going down into a valley, there's another, we're on our way up. The time's coming that we'll go back up. TNT, grace and grit. Exactly, because if they talk, they'll get burned. You know, people asked me for a long time, you know, how I was treated and how people respond to the show and stuff. We have a great bunch of people that watch our show every single day. You know, this has really become a I don't know, but it's something that we have to have every day, or some people get really upset. You're wearing a great color. Well, thank you. My bestie. We got to represent for the bestie. Ah, mercy for the guilty is cruelty to the innocent. Amen. That's so true, Auntie Jan. Auntie Jan. Oh, let's see. Crystal Rogers case. Oh. Hi, Miss Kimberly. 178 watching and 28 thumbs. We're a little bit more than that now. Hit that like button for us, y'all. I know how it feels to have negative attention by police focused on me. Small town Oregon. Punks throwing rocks at my pickup. I reported it. Started to get lots of attention by the cops. Yep. And, you know, that's the sad thing, is that we are now putting ourselves at risk anytime that we call the police. Anytime you dial 911, or if you call the police, you are taking your own future at risk. You're putting yourself at risk. I mean, I am. Anytime I call the police, there have been times where I called the police and I went to jail. There have been times that I called the police and it only made it 100 times worse. And I regretted it with everything in me. I regretted it. And so now, like, I don't even know if I would call the cops. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know what I would call. If I needed somebody, like if I thought somebody was here, or if I needed somebody's help, I wouldn't call 911. I got a few people right up the road that I'd call. They're the ones that I trust. They're the ones that I know are going to come packing. They're the ones that are going to come and have my back. It sure ain't going to be no law. Nope. And especially after what I just found out recently. Oh, buddy. You know, when you have, see, this meth and fentanyl is coming in from somewhere else. Used to, they had that shake and bake stuff, and they were making it right here. Not anymore. I don't think that it's coming from here. You don't have those homemade meth labs like you used to now, because it's so cheap and it's everywhere and it's coming in at every turn. So many different people have access to it, and they're going out of here and bringing it back in, or it's just people are bringing it in and then they're going home, whatever. And, you know, if you know where it's coming in at, why is our police not stopping that flow of those drugs into our county, into our area? They can. They could. They did it with Operation Unite at the beginning of the opioid crisis. Why can't they do it now? Why can't they do it now? From where I'm sitting, I have uncovered, well, I don't know about uncovered, but stumbled upon, I guess, maybe is the better word, an entire operation. Now, if I could stumble upon something so obvious, why ain't the cops? Why aren't any investigations being done into the flow of drugs in fentanyl? We're talking about the poison that is unaliving our children and our parents and our loved ones. Who's getting paid off? Who's getting paid off to allow all this to continue to come into Letcher County, Pike County, Perry County? Who knew about Damron? Well, if you knew about Damron, you know about what's going on. You knew about Judge Mullins, and you know what's going on now. Even if you just heard the rumors. Different circles hear different rumors. All right, let's see. We won't stay on here too awful long. Tonight, let me read this one. Police discuss. There was a pew-pew incident in Hazard at the Perry County Walmart just the other day. So let's read this. Police discuss. Hazard City Police arrested a woman on November 13th after she waved a pew-pew during a dispute in the Walmart parking lot. Yeah. Officers arrived on scene and were able to determine that it was coming from an F-150 somewhere around the grocery pickup area of the parking lot. Hazard Police Chief Zach Miller said. The incident started as a dispute between the woman, Evelyn Nichols, and the driver of a car parked next to her. Officers were able to determine through witness statements that the female in the truck was waving a pew-pew. At the point, officers were able to arrest her on charges. Nichols was charged with disorderly conduct, wanton endangerment, and terroristic threatening. Walmart was placed on lockdown for a short time as a precaution. Miller said the entire incident, from the initial call to the arrest, took 9 minutes. Officers were able to make contact with somebody, figure out where in the parking lot, and then from there get witness statements, Miller said. To do all that in 9 minutes is pretty good. Miller said no officers, the suspect, or members of the public were injured. You know, the end goal of us, it to always maintain public safety. Man, these editors drive me crazy. If that was my job, if my job was just to make sure that the articles are proofread, and I get paid for that, I would be mortified every time they found one of these mistakes. But as you guys see, this is a very common thing in this part of the country. They do not have very good editors, apparently. From my point of view, it is a win-win because officers weren't hurt, the suspect wasn't hurt, and nobody within the public was hurt. All right. Okay. What can community members do to support people who are fighting alone? You know, like I feel alone a lot. Not with you guys. You guys make me feel not alone. Thank you, thank you. If it wasn't for you all, I don't know if I'd be doing it. Rico, it's all Rico. That's exactly right. I have been trying for a very long time to bring it together. Racketeering is exactly what we're looking at. But who would even do anything about it? It is the tentacles. Rico's tentacles are stretched so far into the fabric of this community that I don't think you can extricate them. I don't. I do not. The families, the family members are all, the nepotism, they've already got all of it sewed up. So even if you got one, heck, there's 10 more of their family members in there. You know, I found it very odd that, you know, the entire board of directors for Jenkins is allegedly Judge Mullins's family. The entire board. You know, you might have one or two that aren't family, but it looks like they're all very loyal to Mullins. They're all Mullins people. And then you had Mickey's daughter going up there to the school where she's never been before. You know, we've been up there 4 years. She ain't been there the whole time that we've been there. Not one time has she been there. Because we've been. Not that we've seen anyway. It's just very strange to me. It's very, very, very strange. Both families have so much animosity towards me for my show. Just talking about it, just covering all of this stuff. They got more animosity towards hillbilly crime than they do each other. Doesn't that sound very strange? One murdered the other with 9 shots and hit him with all 9. But yet you have more anger at me and my show. What are we missing? What are we missing with that? Do you all have any guesses? What are we missing? Or what am I missing? Miss Emily, Zachary Wester out of Florida. Check him out. He was a cop who would pull people over and plant drugs. Yes, I watched that trial. He planted drugs in their vehicle. He finally went to prison for it, but not after he ruined people's lives. Yes, Miss Emily. I watched that trial, and he got up on the stand and even testified in his own defense. And they showed a lot of the body cam footage that he had on, like whenever he was searching somebody's car and he would find drugs, find something. He always had his camera turned a certain way, or, something to be able to cover up the fact that he was planting them. And he was sending people, like, I mean, he got a lot of people for DUIs too. It wasn't all just planted drugs. He got a whole lot of people for DUIs who had not touched a drink of alcohol. But yet he said, you failed your DUI test. That's a good one. We need to pull him up and look at it on the show. Thank you, honey. It's not homemade. That's right. It was there for a while. That shake and bake stuff was homemade. They were making it in their bathtubs. They were making it with Drano. They were making it with some of the awfulest. I mean, I never did do the meth. I was in treatment, or I was on Suboxone by the time it came in here real hard. Yes, Miss Tammy. I am. That's why all day today I've been working on trying to get my stuff fixed on my phone. Sharky Sharona. Fentanyl is in everything at this point. Yes, it is. And y'all saw the pictures that I put up there last night? Here, I'll add us some more. I don't know why they insist upon putting this all over Facebook. Every single time they have and it's whether it's Whitesburg PD, Jenkins PD, Neon PD, Sheriff's Department, you name it. Anytime they get a bust, they have to do this. They take a big picture and they put it on Facebook. You've even got the jail down there. They go around and take pictures of the jail, the work release people, and they plaster them all over Facebook, even though they're not allowed to do it. But even though they're not allowed to do it, who's going to tell them? Look at all that cash. You think that would be easy for anybody to just grab a couple of $100 bills and stick it in their pocket? Look at how careless they are with the dope. I can tell you right now, this ain't a procedure. I don't know what your procedure is, but if this is your procedure, if this is your policy, we need a new sheriff in there, honey. Because the one that we've got now, Billy Jones, he was under Mickey. I mean, everybody that's down there, they've been doing this. Just because Mickey's out, they're still doing the same thing that they were doing when he was there. There ain't been no changes. There ain't been no investigation. There ain't been no accountability. There ain't been nothing done. What, the only thing they did was hire somebody's daughter, Alan Borums, and Junior with a ponytail. Does that look like policy, does that even look appropriate at all? Because it don't. But see, they don't look at it that way. They don't look at this as inappropriate. They look at this as, look what I did. We're going to have a peeing contest. Let's see who can pee the farthest. I mean, that's what you should do. Find out who the big dog is. Well, I'm biting my tongue, y'all. I'm biting my tongue so hard right now. Do you think that this looks like maybe somebody might possibly get some dope residue on that counter or somewhere on a doorknob, a door handle, the chair, I don't know, whatever. But you see it all laying right there on that front counter. I mean, I see a thing of Clorox wipes, but Ron Couch, are you crazy? They are filling their pockets. Well, you know, like I said, allegedly, the entire evidence locker went missing from Neon. Whitesburg, or Letcher County Sheriff's Department, or Whitesburg PD. And I don't remember which one. I think it was the Sheriff's Department. Pretty sure it was the Sheriff's Department, but it could have been the Whitesburg PD. I'm not sure which one they said now. But allegedly, after the flood, they didn't have anywhere to keep their evidence. So, from what I was told, what was reported, allegedly, they made an agreement with Neon, and they started keeping their evidence in Neon. They had like lockers. They had a whole row of lockers or something that they used. And from what I was told, they locked them all together. But whenever I don't know, somebody found out all the lockers were all taken too. They just pulled up, loaded the whole thing on something. Who knows what they used? And do you think anybody ever heard about that? What happened with people's cases? If evidence got gone like that, what happened with people's cases? Well, I know what my lawyer friend told me, how hard it was to get in to even see her client's evidence. Things that her clients were being accused of being caught with. Whenever she would try to go down and look at the evidence, they wouldn't let her get near it. First, she said that they made it very, very difficult to even look at. You had to make an appointment, and you had to make an appointment with like one certain person. Like it was only one person or something that could be there with her or something like that. And she said, but it was just hard to get an appointment because they were always busy and I was always busy, and we just never could make the time work. But when they did, she said, I went down there and, you know, he's like all the way across the room, like here, it's in this backpack. And she's like, well, I want to see in the backpack. And they're like, no, you can't. You're not allowed to see in the backpack. What? Well, no, she's not allowed to touch. I mean, she's an attorney. She's the lawyer. You don't have any, I mean, you know how to put gloves on, right? You know how to protect yourself. But that makes me question anyway, with all of this fentanyl and meth, what are they doing with it? I know that they're supposed to send it to the lab. Well, what happens after it goes to the lab? Where does it go after the lab tests it? Isn't it supposed to come back to the court? So that way they have, or come back for court? I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question. Well, you would think that they would wear gloves touching all of that. But you'd also think that they wouldn't dump it all out on the counter. Or on, I mean, look at them. That's somebody's desk. That's a calendar. That to me looks like, look there, they've even got a phone number under that one. JW. Huh. Whose phone numbers and calendar is that, I wonder? I just now looked at it. I got a ton of these. It might be a good idea to go look through them and see what's in the background that I didn't notice. It's kind of like old Kenny Anderson. Whenever he put all those pictures of me up when I was 20 years old, 30 freaking years ago. He's a rocket scientist, I tell you. We sure voted in the right ones, didn't we? Jeez. Anyway, he pulled all that stuff up on his phone and laid it right on top of the Letcher County fiscal court cash registry folders. And you know, not one person on that fiscal court or even the judge executive said anything to him, I doubt, because I think they probably did it as a whole group. Because what I found is they're very liable. They're very liable for what they've done. So we're going to see what we can do about that. We're going to see what we can do about it. Where are the evidence bags? Where is the chain of custody log written on the bag? Yeah, you see, that's how a lot of them bags are. See, there's bags. That cash ain't in no bag, oh, is it? Oh, let's pull up another one. Let's pull up another one. Look at this one. I wonder where all those guns go. You know, we were talking about Mikey Dingus, and he's a sheriff's deputy, and he's the one who got the 35 service weapons all in one happy little chunk. And we don't know if there was an appraisal done on any of those weapons. We don't know if any of them worked or didn't work. We don't know how much they were discounted and given to him for. Right? We don't know. I want to know. I want to look at those papers. Well, he had apparently, you know, I said that I didn't know that he had one. I didn't know he had a business, but apparently he does. He has sold weapons for a long time around here. That's very interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. And you got Damron stealing guns out of the evidence locker and selling them. What? Why? Like he wouldn't know that there were serial numbers on those weapons and that they wouldn't come back to have come from the evidence room. See, none of that makes any sense to me. None of Brian Damron's charges or what he allegedly did makes any sense to me whatsoever. Why would he do that? I think it was a cover-up. I think that Damron was the fall guy. I think Damron was the most expendable because he had his nose in too much. He had his hands in too much. There was too much that he had already done. And it just makes me wonder, was that when they got, why get rid of all those weapons the way that they did? Why give them all to Dingus? Why? Why not auction them off and give the people, they're always talking about how they don't have any money. They don't never have any money. No money, no money. Well, you could have auctioned those guns off to the highest bidder and gotten your money that way. It doesn't make any sense that you would discount all of these weapons, give them to Dingus, who is an active deputy on the payroll. You give him 35 weapons for how much? How much did the sheriff's department get in that one big chunk? The Mountain Eagle didn't report that part. They put their story in. They put their story in the paper so it wouldn't look fishy. Well, too bad. It still looks fishy. You gave just enough information in the article, but you didn't give any real information. You gave just enough so you could say, transparency. Yep, look at us. We're transparent. I wonder how much profit he made off all them 35 of those weapons. I bet that was a dang good payday. Why did he get that? What was so special about him? Why did he get that deal? Why didn't somebody else get that deal? Why him? Because it's nepotism. But I guarantee you there's more to it than that. Because why? Why would Billy Jones do that? Was that Billy Jones? Or was that Mickey Steins? I think that was Billy Jones, wasn't it? Pinto. Hi, honey. Who did Damron not snitch on? That's exactly right. Who did Damron not snitch on? We all know the answer. If you live here, you know exactly the answer to that. Who doesn't, whenever there's a fall guy, why do they need a fall guy? Because the buck stops at the top. And it's always stopped at the top. Buck stopped with Danny Webb. That's where it was at. But son is a professor at the college. He's a retired state police officer. And then you've got the other one, whenever Danny Webb retired, then you had like 3 there that were all wanting to be sheriff. Mickey Steins, Eugene Sloan and what's his name? The other KSP guy. Who was the other ones? What was that other guy's name? The big, tall guy with bald head. Anyway, he was a retired Kentucky State Police officer too. It's a culture of corruption. It's not just money, and it's not just smacks. It's the misconduct, period. So, one of these deputies was married, and his wife got really sick, and she ended up passing away, but she was really, really sick. And the next thing you know, while she is sick and, coming to the end, he's out running around with some other woman all over town, posting pictures all over Facebook. And she was married. They didn't care. They didn't care one bit. They didn't care that they were putting this all over Facebook. They didn't care that they were the talk of the town. They didn't care that rumors were just everywhere. None of these people care. They don't care about what they do. They don't care about who they hurt. It's a selfish world. And corruption, honey, it's just everywhere. What can community, what corruption, or does corruption get exposed more by lawyers, internal affairs, or by regular people speaking out? Well, I don't know. It's not really a good question, I don't think. Okay, this was another one that I wanted to read tonight. So this happened on the other side of our county. So you've got Perry County on one side, and then you got Letcher, and you got Harlan County. That's where I grew up, was in Harlan County. Man enters Harlan Hotel with a loaded shotgun looking for a family member. On Sunday evening, November 16th, 2025, at 4:20 p.m., the Harlan Police Department received a call from Kentucky State Police Post 10 regarding a man acting very suspicious at Quality Inn. He was believed to have been in possession of a firearm, according to the citation. The incident was initially reported as a standoff. Once on scene, police located 35-year-old Justin Greer at the front desk. Harlan Officer Lunsford states that Greer was acting very erratic while officers were attempting to secure the scene and possible firearm. A short-barreled shotgun was quickly located a few feet away inside the man's jacket on a chair in the lobby. The gun was loaded, ready to be fired. Greer attempted to get close to the gun, becoming very nervous acting and moving around, and would not comply with officers' commands, according to police. Speaking to the officers, Greer stated he was looking for his stepdaughter and that he had found the shotgun in the Kaywood area. He also claimed he wanted to throw it in a creek, but then said he decided to turn it in to the police department. The front desk clerk advised HPD officer Jared Powell that Greer had come into the hotel asking what room his stepdaughter was in, believing that she was with someone that she shouldn't be. The front desk clerk stated she knew the stepdaughter and knew that she had been in an altercation with a man she believed to be Greer earlier. Greer was later seen on video surveillance being dropped off in a pickup truck, grabbing the jacket with a firearm inside, walking into the hotel. Justin Greer was arrested roughly an hour later and lodged in the Harlan County Detention Center. He has been charged with menacing, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, carrying a concealed weapon, disorderly conduct, second degree, possession of a defaced firearm, I guess because it was sawed off, and criminal trespassing, third degree. Greer had just been released from jail at 12:19 a.m. Sunday the 16th after being arrested on November 7th. At that time, he was charged with fleeing or evading, first offense, DUI, first offense, driving on suspended license, no registration, no receipt, no insurance, buying, possessing drug paraphernalia, possession of Mary Jane, no rear license plate, illuminated, and he was served a failure to appear. Well, Betty, he sure looks scary, doesn't he? He sure looks scary to me. 35 years old, so he's 15 years younger than me. I don't know him. Man, oh man, oh man. Well, shucks, I need to head out of here. Sending love and hugs. Thank you. I hope to be able to catch more live soon. Yeah, sweet dreams. Thank you, Kentucky Granny. We'll see you tomorrow, honey. Colleen, it goes into a locked evidence room under the care of an employee. It's supposed to. It's supposed to. New day. The cops focused on me just doing my job. Tammy, I was involved in school system for several years, and when a school district falls behind academically and there are fiscal changes, the state has the right to step in. This is the only thing that I know of that you can continue to do a bad job and never lose your job. You know, like all of these audits for the sheriff's department, for the fiscal court, really, for our county audit, every single year, they never did get any better. You know, like every time they would say, we have problems with this, and this, well, they would just respond. Terry Adams just responds and says, well, we'll try to do better next time, or whatever. I mean, each one of them, he just had one sentence in a response, and it's just a BS sentence. Doesn't even say anything other than, okay, we'll do better next time, or something stupid. And then the next year, it's the exact same thing. Same audit, same problems. Don't worry, we'll do better next time. The next year, same thing. I mean, where is any accountability? Where does anybody actually hold them accountable? You know? I mean, it's us, the voters. But here's what I found out. When you have a thing, when you have big family clans, the way that the campaigns are run around here is if you can get in with the elders of that family, then you've got it made, because those elders then go to trickle down. They trickle that voting down to their family members. And so, if you've got a family that's got 10 kids and they're all, 60s, in their 60s now, because back then they had 10 kids in a family. Nowadays, it's not as common. But if you had 10 kids, well, then they all have kids. And just depending on how many each has, then they have kids. So then you have the grandparents and you have their siblings, whoever's alive, and then you have their kids, and then you have all their kids. And before you know, it wouldn't be nothing to have 100 votes. And all you have to do is suck up to grandma. All you got to do is get grandma's vote, get grandma's approval, or grandpa's. No. You better, let me retract that. It ain't grandma, it's grandpa. It's grandpa. It's the man thing. It sure ain't no woman, but it's the man, the male elders that run that. And that's how that works. Then next thing you know, you got all of Sturgillville showing up to vote to put their cousin into office. How many people in drug court? They're not voting. I don't even know what Kentucky is now with felonies and felons and voters. Are felons allowed to vote in Kentucky now? Now, there's a few states that gave voting back to felons, weren't they? Does Kentucky allow felons to vote? Here we go. Let's read this one. Let me remove these. Oops. Civil rights restored. Can you vote? This is Kentucky.gov. There's our lovely, lovely governor. If you are wondering, can I vote with a felony conviction or assumed that the laws have restricted your rights? This isn't true. You may have your rights restored once you have completed your sentence. If you are a United States citizen, you can answer the key questions below about your convictions and determine if you are eligible to vote right now or eligible to go through the process to restore your right to vote. So any of you out there that aren't voting or don't have your voting rights, let's learn. Question 1, have you been convicted of a felony? Yes. No. Okay. 2, have you completed your felony sentence, including parole and or probation? Yes. So if you have not completed, you can't vote. Your right to vote will be restored once you have completed your sentence for a non-violent Kentucky state felony. Once you have completed your sentence, including probation and parole, come back to check your eligibility. Have you been convicted of one or more of the following felonies? Treason, bribery in an election. So does that just mean bribery in an election? Patrick Little has a bribery charge conviction on his record, but we can't tell what any of it's for. They have hidden or sealed, I don't know, but there is absolutely zero information on file, public records, that say what he was bribing. Who did he bribe? What did he do? We don't know. There's no information about it whatsoever anywhere except for on his record, his criminal record, it says that there's a conviction for bribery. Bribery in an election, a violent offense defined in that statute. Any offense under KRS Chapter 507 or 507A, any assault, strangulation in the first degree, human trafficking, any felony conviction in another state or in the federal system. Have you been convicted of one or more of the following felonies? Yes. Unfortunately, you are not eligible to register to vote under Governor Beshear's executive order. You may still petition the governor to have your rights restored if you have completed your sentence and do not owe fines or restitution. Well, why don't they just ask him for a pardon? My gosh. I'd be going in saying, give me a Michael Clark pardon, man. I want a Michael Clark pardon. I want a preacher man pardon. Tammy, what about when they take the ballots to the nursing homes to let them get to vote? And some of those people with dementia had no clue. That's insane. Like, who would do such a thing? And who would ever think that that was appropriate? Woe to the doctors and the lawyers. Woe. You know, I bet it would be better for you to wrap something around your neck and go throw yourself into the ocean. A lot of states allow you to vote as long as you aren't on parole or probation. Well, and according to this, as long as it's not a violent felony. I wanted to read this. Let's look at and see what this KRS statute is. Revised statutes. Oops. It says includes enactments, definitions, prostitution, human trafficking. Human trafficking, promoting human trafficking, treatment of minors suspected of prostitution offense, human trafficking victims service fee, human trafficking victims fund, forfeiture of property used in connection with human trafficking, distribution of proceeds, expungement of records relating to violation of chapter when person charged or convicted was a victim of human trafficking at time of offense. Being victim of human trafficking is affirmative defense to violation of chapter. Conditions that are not a defense in prosecution involving commercial sexual activity. Promoting human trafficking. A person is guilty of promoting human trafficking when the person intentionally benefits. I don't know how this isn't here. I don't know how this ain't here. Benefits financially or receives anything of value from knowing participation in human trafficking. So wouldn't all those men that were paid to sleep with so-and-so's wife? Wouldn't it be all those boys that they were extorting or blackmailing from drug court to sleep with someone's wife? But, you know, if you got the right last name, you got all the money and the right position and political power, you can get away with murder. You can get away with sex trafficking. You can get away with all that you have done to all of these people. For shame, for shame, for shame. You know how many Barbie dolls are walking around? Human Barbie dolls with black hair. Might as well have white fingernails. Recruits, entices, harbors, transports, provides, obtains, advertises, maintains, patronizes, or solicits by any means, or attempts to recruit. You mean from drug court? How about all those boys? Entice and girls, harbor, transport, provide, obtain, advertise, maintain, patronize, or solicit by any means another person, knowing that the person will be subject to human trafficking. This is a crime. It's every bit a crime. Promoting human trafficking is a Class C felony unless a victim of the trafficking is under 18, in which case it is a Class B felony. Very interesting. Okay. Tomorrow is our game, our big game. So we probably won't be on until later tomorrow night. It'll probably be around 10 or so by the time we get back. Okay. But tonight, we shined a light on something far bigger than Coffee County or Letcher County. We talked about one mama's fight, but we also talked about a system that far too many of us recognize. A system where the people in power get to decide what gets investigated, what gets ignored, and who gets silenced. A system where grieving families are told to just move on, where coroners hand out cookie cutter autopsies like rubber stamps. And think about who our coroner was. We had Marty Baker as our coroner. And then you had a couple others. I don't even know who the coroner is now. It's not a very popular position. But I found out that you don't even have to have any kind of medical training whatsoever to get elected to coroner in Kentucky, which is one of the craziest things I've ever heard of in my life. But where coroners hand out cookie cutter autopsies like rubber stamps, and where sheriff's offices close ranks faster than you can say cover up. But here's the truth. I want y'all to carry with you tonight. Corruption does not survive because the bad people are strong. It survives because the good people are scared. Scared to speak up. Scared to lose their jobs. Scared to lose their friends, their family, their safety. And that fear is real. Just ask me. But I don't scare easy. But so is the power of one voice willing to break the silence. Every time a mama stands up and demands the truth, every time a community says enough, every time ordinary people refuse to look away, the cracks start to form. And once a crack forms, the whole wall can fall. So tonight, I want you to remember this. You are not crazy. You are not alone. You are not powerless. Small towns, they count on silence. But we are not staying silent anymore. We're going to keep shining the light. We're going to keep asking the questions that they don't want asked. You know what's really funny is that we can go to a ball game and hillbilly crime can sit on one side of the gym. And a prosecutor, a Letcher County prosecutor, can sit on the other side of the gym. And who do you think people come to tell their stories? Well, I didn't see them going to the prosecutor. I saw them coming to me. What's that tell you? Well, it tells me that people are tired of the cover-up. People are tired of that nepotism. If you got the right last name, you can get away with anything. And the buddies are all going to close ranks around them. So the only option that we have to fight any kind of injustice or cover-up is through independent journalism. It's the only way that the truth gets out, or at least the other side. You know, one thing that we've learned, one thing I've learned, is there's two sides to the truth. Well, really three. There's your side, there's my side, and then there's the truth. Somewhere usually in the middle. Because we all have different perceptions. We all come from our own experiences, which are very, very different. We're going to keep telling the stories that they pray never see daylight. Because justice isn't a gift handed down by those in power. Oh no. Justice is something that people demand and refuse to let go of. So to the mama in Coffee County and every mama fighting for answers, if that was your daughter, what would you be doing? If that was your son, I'd be doing everything to move heaven and hell. We see you. We hear you. And we're not looking away. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for caring when the system didn't. And thank you for standing with the truth even when it's uncomfortable. This has been a culture of corruption. And I'm Elizabeth from Hillbilly Crime. And I will see you all tomorrow night. All right. Thank you, Jesus, for another day, being able to come together in your name, Lord. We're thankful to be here. I'm grateful that I woke up this morning, Lord. I'm grateful that the show goes on no matter what happens. The show will always go on. I love you, Jesus. I lift everybody up to you, Lord, that's asked for a special prayer request. You know all about them. You know what need each person has in their family. So I just pray that you bless them and touch them according to those needs. You know all about it. I pray for healing tonight. Physical, mental, emotional, but as usual, the most important is the spiritual. I pray that you just touch each of our hearts. Whatever we're struggling with, Lord, whatever we're going through, I speak the blood of Jesus over each of us. I speak healing over our lives. I speak healing over our finances. I speak healing from surgeries, from any kind of medical problems, any kind of ailments, whatever getting people down, Lord. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. I rebuke the devil, that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. I pray that you put your hand of protection around about us, Lord. Put a hedge of protection around about us, that the devil can't get through. I thank you, Jesus. I pray that you forgive me for my sins, Lord. I sure ain't perfect, and I fall on my face every single day. I pray that you help us, or that you go with us tomorrow safely, get us back safely. And until we come again tomorrow, we give you all praise, honor, and glory. In Jesus' name, in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Emily, a lot of states allow you to vote as long as you... Oh, I already read that one, didn't I? Has to be election to lose. Oh. You're right. They're supposed to be coherent to vote. We can help them, but we can't make the choices for them. If you ain't hit that like button, y'all, please hit it for us. I ain't too proud to beg. I ain't too proud to beg. Emily, I work in a mental hospital. We can help them, but we can't make decisions for them. I bet there's some that make decisions for them, though. Yeah. Yeah. Still, man. Where is Preacher Man? He's mighty quiet. Well, I guess he's a working for Beacons of Hope. Who knows? I don't follow him, anything I have, I only get because somebody will send it to me or something. But they ain't nobody going to do anything about him. Because if they did, they'd have to explain why they gave him a pardon. They'd have to explain why they ignored so many red flags everywhere. And they ain't nobody going to do that. They ain't nobody going to do that. All right, guys. Well, you have a great rest of your night. I love you. Tomorrow, let's see, Tuesday, we're doing Gavin this week. Gavin asked me to come on. So we will, I'm not sure what day. I think it'll either be Thursday or Friday because we don't have games on Thursday or Friday. Tomorrow we have big games. So it'll probably be about 10 o'clock when we get on tomorrow night. Maybe a little bit earlier. It just depends on what time I get home. And then Wednesday. I think we have a game on Wednesday, so it'll probably be late that night too. And then Thursday or Friday we will do Gavin. And then maybe be a little bit earlier on that other day then. If anybody didn't go and vote for Trina, please just scan that little thing up in the corner and it'll take you to our Facebook, or Crystal's put our Facebook link in the chat. You can go that way and vote for Trina. She is a very, very special ball mom here, and we love her very much. She lost her husband last year, and so we want to support her as much as possible. We love her. Sabrina, one voice can make a difference. Yeah. And then you can't, and then, you know, once people speak out, they will come to silence you. Look at what they did to Tasha. Look what they've done, what they've tried to do to me. But I was too smart for them. They thought I was stupid. And I got the Lord on my side. I mean, I don't know what people think when they go up against God's children. You go up against God's people, you know you're going to lose. That doesn't even make no sense. But, I don't know. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of your night. I love y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out, Girl Scout.
From hillbilly crime, you
Can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You may not know that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dog passed away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise.